Hi, this is Kerala again at KeralaFicklin.com, WelcomeNetwork.com, iStudyGuides.com, or explain.com. So we're back and we're looking at minimum pairs, and we're finishing up the list on consonants. And we looked at some problems that may be people coming from a different language, such as French would have, versus someone coming from Spanish would have. So let's continue. And this, I think, Spanish speakers, the problem would have, especially the difference between the J, which is pronounced totally different than it is in English. The J in Spanish is pronounced like the H in English, when the H is pronounced in English, versus the Y is pronounced like the Y. So a problem could be the difference between a word that begins with a J and a word that begins or contains Y, such as jail and Yale. Yale University, for example. Jail, jail, versus Yale. So if you go to Yale, you probably won't ever go to jail. That's not necessarily true. Okay, J versus the CH, such as jeer and cheer. Jeer and cheer. When you jeer someone and you're at, let's say you're at a soccer game or football game, but not American football, but football as understood in the rest of the world, Canada, Europe, and you don't like the team and you go boo, boo, that's to jeer, J-E-E-R. To cheer is to do just the opposite. You're at a football game, or you're at a baseball game, or you're at a whatever place, and you showing your approval or disapproval, and you go, yay, woo, I can't do that, you know, woo. That's to cheer someone. To cheer someone. And if I try to cheer you up, I'd make jokes to make you feel better. Say, hi, come on, cheer up, smile, smile. All right. The next one is J versus the SH, such as Jerry. Jerry is the name of someone. Jerry, like Jerry Lewis. And Sherry. Sherry. So let's go back. So you have the J versus the CH, jeer versus cheer. To jeer someone versus to cheer someone, and then you have the J versus the SH, Jerry and Sherry. Once again, if you have problems with this or anything, we have audio tapes that deal with minimum pairs. We also have cards that deal with minimum pairs to help you get the pronunciation and understanding of the English language, not just metaphors, not just idiomatic expressions, but also in the area of pronunciation. Okay, so now let's look at vowels. We've been looking at consonants, but now let's look at vowels. You have the short A and you have the short E. Now some of these, well, depending on the language from which you come, might be confusing. Other times not so much. Let's look at it. So you have band and bend. I don't think that's confusing. You can hear the difference clearly. The word is spelled, the two words are spelled almost the same. The difference is the A and the E. But I think you can hear the difference between band and bend end. You have the short O and the long A. Now here you might have a difference. You have the short O, mop, to mop the floor, and the long A, That's sort of like the, well, that's a short A. Ma, because a long A would be na, a. So let me change that so you have the short O and the short A. So mop, ap, and ma, ap. Then you have the short I and the short E. Short I, bid, it, bid. The short E, bed. So you have bid versus bed. Bid, B-I-D, short. Bed, B-E-D, short. Then you have the long E versus the short E. So you have beast, beast, he's a real beast, versus best. Beast versus best. Then you have the short I versus the short A. Hid, had. I think that's clear. Hid, had. Now you have the long E versus the long A. Beat, bait. I think those are very clear. Beat, bait. Short A versus the long A. Now both of these contain the A, the letter A, but you will see that they're not pronounced the same, and the letter A is not pronounced the same because the long form of the vowel A and the short form of the vowel A, with the short forms, you have many short forms, are not pronounced the same. So short A, can. The long A, cane. Cane. And the only difference is that one is spelled C-A-N and the other one is spelled C-A-N-E. And that E tells you that the A before, the vowel that comes before, is pronounced in its long form. So it's can versus cane. Then you have the short O versus the long I. So you have box, that's the short O, and bikes, that's the long I. Now that for me is not difficult, but pronouncing it, I can see where it could, the word's not difficult, challenging. I could see where it can be confusing. So you have short O, box, long I, bikes. That could be somewhat confusing, especially if you're not familiar with the words. Now you have the short I versus the long I. Once again, you're talking about the same vowels, but different pronunciation. The short I, it, lick. The long I, like. So to lick, L-I-C-K, like, L-I-K-E. So one is short, it, lick. One is long, like. I'm not going to be able to finish all the minimum pairs on this video. So in the next video, I'll finish up the minimum pairs, and then we're going to talk about all the different pronunciations of each vowel. There are many different pronunciations. So once again, this is Coralla Ficklin at CorallaFicklin.com, WelcomeNetwork.com, Explain.com, and iStudyGuides.com.